Hey guys, how are you? All right, so tonight is crazy. So, my daughter has had a complete and utter meltdown, so it's been awesome tonight. Just awesome. You guys know how it is, right? So that's what I've been through tonight, and it's tons of fun. So, for those of you who don't know me, my name is Raven Woods, and I'm the CEO and founder of Autism Mama Rocks the IEP. And I help parents gain the knowledge and confidence to become the CEO of their IEP meeting. Now, I am late tonight. I said I would be on here at 8:30. I did make a note that my daughter was having a meltdown, but you know what? I'm a mom just like you guys, and it was a complete and utter mess, and she's still going through it. So if I have to jump off here because she's throwing a fit, then that's what I have to do. So again, for those of you who don't know me, my name is Raven Woods. I'm the CEO and founder of Autism Mama Rocks IEP, and I help parents gain the knowledge and the confidence to become the CEO of their IEP meeting. So with that said, tonight I'm doing a little bit of a change. So normally Thursday nights are content night. Well, normally Monday is or Sunday night for 3 o'clock. Sometimes at 7. I'll do a Sunday tip of the week, Monday tip of the week, and then on Thursdays I do content night. Well, I also on Tuesdays go live over on my group and I do a Q&A. So I figured, why not change it up a little bit here on the page, because I've never done this before. All right. So if you're new to watching me live, post a 1 below. Okay. If you're an oldie but goodie, post a 2 below. Let me get to know you. I want to get to know you guys. And for those of you who were on the webinar last night, thank you for sticking with me. There were so many of you guys on live, and the replay did go out today, and it's in your email box. So make sure to grab it, because it is in your email box, okay? So go check your emails, all right? And it's the second one because we screwed up on the first one, but it's whatever. Hey, Jessie, how are you, girl? So check your emails, all right? So the replay is in it. Now, the replay is 4 hours, guys. 4. Yep, 4. Not 1, not 2, not 3. 4 hours. But the webinar itself was only an hour and 4 minutes, okay? So at an hour and 4 minutes, you can cap it off. But my stupid self stayed online for 3 hours answering questions. But you know what? I love it. I think that's the problem. Everybody says, Raven, you need a break, you need to relax, you need to chill, whatever. But I actually really love it. And I brought people online with me, and they actually, on Zoom, you can talk, so I let them unmute themselves, and they were asking questions. So it was really nice, actually. So if you want to listen to the rest of the webinar, it's a Q&A. Okay? So again, post a 1 below if you're new, post a 2 below if you're an oldie but goodie. I want to get to know you. And if you haven't jumped over to the group, definitely join. All right, so hey, Mickey, hey, India, Jessie, Tara, Hernandez. You guys are like my tribe. All right, so again, we're doing and switching things up today. Normally, it is content night on Thursday night, but my brain is fried from my child having a complete and utter meltdown. So I figured I would switch it up and do a straight up Q&A before I jump over to my course group and have to go through a bunch of questions there as well. So go ahead, and if you're jumping on, just start pounding away at your keyboard and ask questions. I've never done this on the page before because there's a lot of you. But hey, India, how are you? But I figured, why not try something new on the page? Normally it's on the group, but I'm going to try it here on the page. But you guys are welcome to join the group, which is where the Q&A typically happens on a Tuesday. All right. So if you guys have any questions, go ahead and shoot, and I will definitely, answer your questions. All right. And we'll go from there. And that's how we're going to run tonight. All right. While you guys are posting questions, there is a topic that I want to talk about. So when you go to an IEP, there is something that you receive called Procedural Safeguards. And most of the time, parents don't read it. You get this email and it's an attachment, typically, or you're in the IEP meeting and you receive this huge packet of paper that's thick, and it's called Procedural Safeguards. And a lot of parents just grab it and go, or they get it on their email and then they don't open it. All right. So the Procedural Safeguards, I have to tell you, is something that you need to read and understand. All right. So again, if you're hopping on, tonight is something new. We're doing a Q&A here. So post your questions. I'm just talking. Okay. Post your questions. So it's really cool because it actually tells you a lot about your rights. All right. As a parent. No, it doesn't teach you how to walk into the IEP meeting and become the CEO. No. But it does teach you your rights as a parent, and understanding those rights and highlighting on the procedural safeguards what's important to remember, like how long someone has to give you a PWN, or what happens if you request this or that, and the kind of legalities within your district. And then you always want to jump over to IDEA and kind of compare and make sure it's accurate, because it shouldn't be that far off. All right. So I encourage you to go through your procedural safeguards. And if you have any questions in reference to it, because I know it's a lot of information, typically procedural safeguards are anywhere from 40 to 60-ish pages, and it's a lot. So make sure that you take the time to read it. Give yourself a good chunk of time, among a couple days at least, and make sure that you read them and really dive deep into trying to understand it. And if you don't, then just ask. All right. You can take a picture of it and you can say, hey, what does this mean? And stuff like that. And you can post it over in the group. Okay. So if you have any questions for me tonight, go ahead and ask. All right. I know it's late and it's not, Thursday nights are not always the best night. I might actually change content night. I'm not sure. What do you guys think? So I'm noticing that Thursday nights are not as busy. Monday and Tuesdays are pretty big nights. Hi, Trisha. How are you? I'm noticing Mondays and Tuesdays are really good nights. I noticed that Friday mornings are really good. So I'm going to go live tomorrow morning because Mondays are huge. So I'm going to come on live here in the morning and just say hey and talk about a certain topic. But it's interesting how, certain days are better than others. So again, I apologize for being late, but Sky was having a pretty big meltdown, so I had to deal with that. All right. So anybody have any questions? All right, my IEP is Monday, and the school does not want to tell me what type of evaluation they have my son doing for the IEP. Well, they have to tell you what they're doing for the IEP, because for them to do an evaluation, you have to sign a consent. So in order to do that, you have to know what type of evaluation. And she said, as a parent, I cannot pick the evaluation. You absolutely can. I know that you said we could. What do I do? You have to put it in an email of what type of evaluation you're looking for. So you have to make sure that you're, pretty fluent with what to ask for, how to ask for it, and making sure that that's accomplished, and not signing anything until it's agreed upon what type of evaluation. And the more evidence you have to show in regards to why that evaluation is needed and necessary for your particular child, the better off you're going to be. Okay? So that's very important. I had one, but I forgot. Well, I'm going to hop over to the course after this. So, all right. So we're doing a Q&A. I see people hopping on. I know it's like kind of that time. Make sure you click notifications so you know when I come live, because I'm starting to come live like in different times, and I've noticed that I can't believe during the day is actually busy, just like sometimes the evening. It's kind of interesting. So who has actually read their procedural safeguards? Anyone want to tell me if they've read their procedural safeguards. What type of things do you think is in the procedural safeguards? Is there any questions about procedural safeguards and what it is, why it's important to understand what it means? Anybody? I'm waiting on your questions. So I'm just going to go into a little bit more depth on procedural safeguards. Had some dust on my computer. And tonight's a little bit more relaxed because I've been stressed out today because I had a complete meltdown. I'm sure you guys understand. But yeah, so in procedural safeguards, what's what? You don't know what procedural safeguards are, girl? Oh, Lord. All right, so I'm going to share my screen with y'all. All right, so let's talk about procedural safeguards. If you guys have questions, go ahead and shoot, okay? So this is procedural safeguards, guys, all right? So it's several pages. So basically, it's your family special education rights, as you can see right here. All right, so you can see that. Can you guys see my mouse? Tell me if you can. Tara, can you see my mouse? Are you on, Tara? Yeah. Can you, or Shauna, can you guys see my mouse when I put it on the paper? Can you see it or no? Yes, no? Okay. So procedural safeguards go over your rights as a parent. No. Okay, so you don't see it at all. All right. So procedural safeguards go over your right as a parent. It starts out with what it is, and then it goes through what should be included in your IEP, and then it goes into, for example, oh, you can. Okay, cool. Then it goes into example of what the prior written notice is, which is super important. So that's when you go and you can't. Okay. It's okay. I'm going through each page. So I'm on page 2. You guys can see that. Can you see it well, or do I need to zoom it? All right. So on the second page, and procedural safeguards, they're different sometimes in regards to, what's on what page. Okay. And that's all right. Goes into procedural safeguards, and then it goes to, and that's what it's called, the procedural safeguards. It goes into your prior written notice. So the prior written notice is given to you each and every IEP, among other times. So if something's denied to you in the IEP, it basically says it's one of those things where if whatever is agreed or disagreed is in the procedural and the PWN. All right. So if the school proposes something, if you propose something, if, you don't propose something, it's all of that stuff is in the PWN. Sorry about that. All right. I'm trying to, oh, there you go. You get to see my background. Let me see. Not sure. Okay. Better? Can you guys see it better? Okay. Or here. I think here. Here we go. Ah. Huh. You learned something new, right? All right. So basically the prior written notice is whether you agree or disagree. It's what the school proposes or what you propose, and it's what they agree or disagree. All right. And it can go in depth. And those of you who are in my course, you guys have all of this stuff. All right. So this talks about, in the procedural safeguards, it talks about your right as in your native language. So if you speak a different language and that is not your first language, they actually can have somebody in there that is, that speaks your language, whatever that may be. All right. It goes through what can be given to you in mail. It talks about recordings. But let me tell you something about recordings. So the schools could say you have to ask, or you have to this, or you have to that. But honestly, that's where there's a difference. You actually have to go by your state law versus what your PW or your prior or your, this is a procedural safeguard. So procedural safeguards, what it says. All right. So just know that, because, for example, North Virginia is a one-party state, where some states, there's 10 different states that are two-party states where you actually have to ask permission. All right. All right. So it goes into what you need to consent. Yeah. Yes. It goes into the consent, and it goes into further what you consent for. For example, evaluations, and you have to consent for reevaluations and all that type of stuff. See, it's going into reevaluations, and you basically have to consent to pretty much everything other than when the school, just observes and stuff like that. You do not have to be present for that either. Okay, so you actually can revoke consent. Okay, so let me talk about this for a second. You know how I've said to you guys, like, if you sign an IEP and you're like, oh shit, I shouldn't have signed that, I don't agree anymore. You read it for the 5th, 6th, 7th time and you're like, no, I don't agree with that. All right, you can actually revoke consent, and you put that in writing, and you want to make sure that it states that you are revoking your consent of your IEP or whatever it is, or evaluation, whatever, okay? And that you, but if you agree on certain things, you can state that too, okay? All right, so it goes into other consent requirements, and as you can see, it's 43 pages. Right? So you want to make sure that you read all of this. It goes into IEEs. It goes into just different things that you want to know kind of what's going on. All right? Within your state, within your county. Does it tell you, how to go into your IEP and get what you want? Nope. But it gives you some sort of idea of what your rights are and can be. All right? So this has nothing to do. Hi, Crystal. How are you? So it has nothing to do. Let me look it up for you. I think it's a one party. Yeah, one. So it goes into record, which is FERPA, all right? And it goes, hi, Stephanie, how are you? All right, and how to get your records and that sort of thing. It doesn't really go into a whole lot of detail, though. So the procedural safeguards is kind of your short way of saying, hey, here's your rights, It doesn't go into grave detail on it, all right? It goes into different things as far as fees when it comes to like FERPA and that sort of thing. And when it comes to FERPA, just so you know, the fee is only 20 cents per copy, all right? Then it just goes into different things of hearing procedures. If you had an issue, your family education, for FERPA, and then you have due process, all that kind of stuff. It continues with just really just a lot of things that I think would really guide you in just a little bit of knowledge of understanding what it is, so that I'm good. Well, I'm okay. Skylar's had a fit, but she's being quiet right now. But when she has a fit, I don't know, like, she has this new thing right now where she's like acting like she's crying, but there's no tears. And it's just kind of like where she has to get out the noise and get out the frustration because she's frustrated and mad. So it's just so annoying, and you're just like, oh my God, I want to pull my hair out. That's kind of how it is tonight. And then she'll say, okay, I'm fine. I'm fine. Mom, did you hear my fit? Did you hear it? Did you see it? Yes, Sky, I heard your fit. Believe me. So yeah, so it continues, with just different things. It tells you about mediation, which by the way sucks. You don't want to go to mediation. Just go to due process. Just skip on over mediation. Talks about your state complaint procedures. There ain't procedures, okay? You basically download the state complaint. You put the information in. You put your proof, what the complaint is. You do have to know how to write the complaint, but this doesn't tell you. It just tells you kind of the procedures. But as far as the state complaint, you just have to know how to document each one. So you can do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You can do 50 state complaints on one paper, and you just number them as to what the complaints are, and then make sure you have proof. All right. And it just goes and goes. You don't have to ask permission, no. It talks about the resolution stuff, which is, the mediation, if you wanted to do that. Due process and how you do that. And there's a huge, this is nothing on what is in due process. All right. This is a joke. To give a whole paragraph on due process. There's a huge packet on due process in regards to the laws with that and the time constraints and that sort of thing. So for those of you who are hopping on, I've seen people kind of hop on here and there. Just so that you guys know, tonight is really like a question and answer night. I'm just actually going over the procedural safeguards for you guys, just to kind of talk about them and introduce you to them, because I know I'm one of those parents. I did not read this stuff in the beginning. I looked at it like, okay, you're going to give me this huge packet? No thanks. I don't have time for that. But I want you to know that you should actually read it. It does give some good information. Is it great? No. Is it gonna make you fight even better? No, not really. But it's gonna give you some knowledge on kind of what's what. All right, so tonight is Q&A night on the page. First night that I ever have done this on the page. Normally I do it on the group. And I figured it'd be a good time to do that because Skylar had a great fit tonight. So I figured we'll go over the procedural safeguards. We'll talk about Q&As if you guys have any questions, and I'll stick on here for another 15 minutes, okay? All right, so my daughter was tested by a doctor. I'm trying to find out what all is wrong with her. She's 10. We had her IEP meeting Tuesday, and I had the results with me there, and I told them that I wanted what the doctor put on the paper put on her IEP. Doctor wanted it in there as well. They told me no, it's the rules, not ours. It's their rules, not ours. It's what they want, not us. I told them again, I want it put in there. I'm not happy at all. Well, what is it? What is it that you're wanting put into the IEP? Like what would it make a difference of, So India says what's media. Mediation is where if you disagree with a school, you can request mediation through the state. So then the state provides a third party that is qualified in mediation, not special ed, and will sit there and be your referee so that you and the school can agree or come to an agreement, or hopefully come to an agreement. Now, the problem with mediation is anything brought up in mediation can now no longer be brought up in due process. So if you ever wanted to go to due process and you put all your chips on the table, then you're screwed big time if you ever had to go to due process. So in my mind, as adults, if you need another person in there to help you mediate that knows nothing about your situation, your child, nothing, then you ain't going to agree anyway. All right, so why waste your time? Just skip on over it and go to due process. So many people are scared of due process. Stop being scared of due process. You're going to win or you're going to lose. You know the outcome, win or lose. Yes, you want this stuff for your children. So if you prepare and you do it right, you don't have to pay $25,000 for a special education attorney to go and talk about a child they don't even know. And so many parents will I'll see it on my group all the time. Go get a lawyer, go get a lawyer, go get a lot of lawyers. I'm a advocate with COPA and we talk with lawyers all the time. There's times where lawyers don't even know half as much as us advocates know, but they help us know more about the legal part of it and what the law is interpreting of it. And they also help with different types of paperwork and the legalities there. But there's lots of attorneys that don't know shit about anything. And it's very difficult to have an attorney that is going to know everything about everything, especially when they don't know your child. And very rarely do they meet your child and get to know your child. They just look at the paperwork. And then a lot of times when they go and present, they don't know a whole lot in reference to fight. I can't tell you how many cases parent paid $25,000, $30,000 for a special education attorney and they lost anyway. So it's not always about the who, all right? That's why in my course, I teach parents how to advocate for themselves. It's insane to spend that much money when you can. I know it's hard, but you can do this yourself. Yes, you have to learn the process. Yes, it's going to take a little bit of time. Yes, it's going to take a little bit of your time, and I know that's limited, but you can do this. I did it, and I'm no better than you. So you can do it too. You just have to believe in yourself. And I know that it's hard. I know it's stressful. I know we have our crying spells. I know we have our breakdowns as parents. I know that we're overwhelmed and we have this anxiety just going into the stupid IEP meetings, let alone due process. But you got to just nix the anxiety piece of it and just freaking go for it. You got to just have that attitude of, I'm going to win or I'm going to lose, but I'm going to fight as hard as I can and I'm going to provide as much as I can and I'm going to do the best I can, and that's all you can do. And I'll tell you this, you're going to fight a lot better for your child than any special education attorney. Yes, Sky. You're doing so good. I'm so glad that you're not fussing anymore. So happy. Yeah. Really happy.
And to behave around.
To behave around. Yeah, she turned her behaviors around. See, this is the FBA that turned into the BIP, and this is the behavior plan that is teaching her how to be aware of her feelings. Right, Sky?
Right.
So you're able to tell mom when you're mad and you're frustrated.
Right.
Right?
Right.
Yeah.
And I was upset.
You were upset. You were. I'm sorry about that.
Because you pushed me in this morning.
No.
Yes, you did.
No.
You pulled me out of the bathroom.
I did. I did do that.
And I cried tonight.
You did cry tonight. Are you done?
Yes.
All right, let me finish and then we'll talk.
All right.
All right. All right. So basically, just know that you can fight and you can do this and don't get intimidated. All right. All right. So let's finish going through this. If you guys got questions, I promise I'm going to answer them. So India, I answered mediation. Megan says, is there a reason why you said to skip over mediation and go right to due process? Yeah. I think I kind of just explained that, but did you hear what I said in regards to it? Can you advocate? Yeah, I do go to due process all the time. Yeah. Yes. Hey, Grace, how are ya? So basically, mediation is what I was saying. A third party comes in who doesn't know your child, is not versed in special ed, is just there to be that body to say, okay, don't fight. It's so stupid. When you're an adult, I'm an adult, they're adults. Why would I need somebody else in the room to tell me calm down, let's try to get along, let's do this together? That's such bullshit. And then here's the thing, is you get so worked up and then things come out and then you can no longer use those things in due process. And in due process, you need as much information and proof as possible, because that's what it comes down to. People are told, oh, it looks better if you have an attorney. No, it doesn't. It looks better if you have the documentation that you need to prove your case. That's what matters. It doesn't matter who's proving it. All right? Because I can show you documents upon documents upon documents of cases that I have actually truly researched, and that tells you all about, like I have it in front of me, different cases from 2015 all the way up to 2018, just different cases in which can you see? Oh, I'm sharing my screen here. So different cases that I read all the time in regards to due process and understanding cases, and you're able to really see, like, okay, who won, who didn't, what was the case about. I love learning that kind of stuff. And it's important too, because knowing like what wins, what doesn't, and what they presented, because it tells you, then you kind of get an idea of, okay, well, I'm not going to do it that way, so you can learn from other cases, and you definitely don't. Now, you do need an attorney, in my opinion, if you're going to go up to the federal court. All right. So due process, no. But if you or they appeal, yes. All right. So that's really important. Okay. Yeah, Cynthia, I talked to Pete Wright yesterday, and he sent me, because I've trained under him, so he lives like an hour from me here in Virginia. He lives in Deltaville, and I live in Fredericksburg. So he gave me a whole bunch of PDFs of all these cases and all this stuff. So I have it. So I can I'll post different stuff in the course private Facebook group. Okay. So Enjoli, is it Enjoli? She says, my son, let me go back to real quick, Megan. Real quick, I want to tell you that there's no point in having a babysitter. All right. You're an adult. You don't need a babysitter. If they're not going to agree with you and you've been persistent, that doesn't mean one time, I was telling my course, students, just because I get pretty much what I want for my daughter and her IEP, that doesn't mean that sometimes I don't have to go into the IEP meeting 3, 4, 5 times to make sure it gets done. You don't think they test me still? Of course they do. But they know I'm not giving up. And they know that, I have the Director of Special Education on recording. I should play it for you guys sometime, just that part, where she says, we know that if we don't try this, that you're not going to get off our back. That's what she said to me. And I have it on tape. And they're right. So it's like, why postpone things? And schools are king and queen of what's called the, it's a different tactic in regards to kind of ignoring you and pushing things to where, because they know there's a cap on time. So you have 1 year in which to make a state complaint. And they know if they push it and ignore you and just kind of, it's like a stall tactic. Schools are fabulous at that. All right. And it pisses me the hell off. And I don't allow it anymore. I used to. I didn't understand why they wouldn't get back to me or why they wouldn't, respond. And I'd email and I'd email and I'd email. And I was like, what the hell? What's going on? Why won't they respond back? And I was getting all mad. And it was a mess. And I learned the game. And that's the thing. I tell people all the time, stop being who you are in the IEP process. That's hard to say, right? So don't be nice. Don't be cordial. Don't be whatever. And I've had people say to me, well, why do you say that? You just need to try to keep the team together. Well, you know what? If they didn't screw me over, I would be nice too. But you know what? That's what they seem to do with a lot of parents. If I was with a team that hadn't lied to me for years, that was, doing what's needed and appropriate for my child, do you think that I would have a problem? No, but that's kind of like what goes on, and I've heard a lot of parents say, oh, they cared. And, they did everything we needed and da-da-da-da. And then they gave me the IEP and I saw the IEP and it was written all wrong. And the parent was thrilled because they thought all these things. But when I read the IEP to them and pointed out to them, hey, look at this, they had no idea. So you have to remember that if the team typically, not always, is really, really nice, something's going on. Okay? And I don't mean to be a Debbie Downer, but I can say with as many people as I work with, it's rough. All right. I'm hoping that I'm going to be going to Florida with one of my parents. They live in Florida, and, you know, go to due process with her. I love her to death. And Florida's a sucky state, man. Gorgeous state. Can't wait to move there, but I'm waiting for Skylar to grow to finish school because there's no way I'm going there. But yeah, so I do due process a lot, and you can subpoena people, and you can do all kinds of stuff all by yourself. You can. All right. So procedural safeguards goes over all kinds of stuff, but look at this. See due process here? It's like what? Half a page? No. All right. If you like have the due process packet, it's like 98 pages. All right. So just know the procedural safeguards is like a limited, let me go back into it. All right. So it's like a limited kind of overview of what it is that you need to be aware of. All right. It's kind of like a mini version. All right. So let me scroll back to where it is. All right. So I'm just going to scroll through this, guys, because it's kind of tedious. But just know that it is about your rights. It is things that you should read. Is it some big thing on each subject? No. But it does give you some information that you should read and be aware of. All right. So just know that. And it is good information. So, you know, just go after it and read it and make sure that you at least know what it is. So then every other time that they give it to you, you don't got to read it anymore. But, you know, at least you looked at it, you know, when they give it to you. And then make sure, like recently, our state recently updated it. So I had to read it again. But just make sure you read it. It'll be good for you. All right. Okay. So questions. So I answered that. So you're off tonight, Grace, huh? Or are you at work? All right. So Jolie says, my son is 6, kindergarten, has an IEP for speech. So is it a speech IEP? Is that what you're saying? As time has progressed, he has also had behavior issues. Okay. What is his diagnosis? I'm starting to think he may be high-functioning autistic. Okay, so he hasn't been diagnosed yet, I'm assuming. He has yes to be. Okay, got it. How do I get the school to place him in Sped class? Well, you have to get him diagnosed. You have to go get an IEE, ask the school to do an evaluation, and that's where you want to start. All right. All right. And then how long do I wait for the school to respond back to an FBA request email I sent them before I respond back with another email? I always say 5 to 7 days, business days. All right. Uh-oh, what happened? Are you like out on the streets at night? And you're like a New York officer, right? Is it New York? Pennsylvania? All right. So, hi, Jessica. How are you? Yeah, 5 to 7 days, Tara. And then Crystal says, before getting my son's first IEP, it took me a year to get a response from them so I could finally get that meeting. I emailed several times, no response. Then I kept insisting for a year, and I think they finally got to me because I went to several schools and I told I had a spec out to the person. I'd speak to the person I've been emailing. Oh, gotcha. Yep. If the school tests a child, is a parent supposed to? Yeah, you get a copy of all evaluations. Okay, so make sure you get those. All right, there's not really a time frame of when you get them. Like normally, because after an evaluation, you go and you meet in a meeting to go over the evaluation, and typically you're supposed to have the evaluation copies 2 days in advance is all they have to do. All right, I always ask for it more, but 2 days is kind of the rule, you know. So if they want to be jerks, then they'll do 2 days. If they don't want to be jerks, then they won't. You know. So yeah. All right. So Cynthia says, I am preparing to request an evaluation in the fall when school starts back up. I have been taking videos and making notes. Good. I have evaluation scheduled for September. How long will that? Like I said, I've requested Sped in September. I want to review those results to know what to ask for. Okay. Oh, good. I'm glad, Grace. Yeah, they closed school here for tomorrow because of the virus, and then all next week is spring break. So, Jeff and Jesse says, I just found one in Randall's records I never got. Gotcha. So yeah, Cynthia, that's fine. You know, you can do that. Not a problem. So does anybody else have more questions? I notice people have hopped on. So if you're new, make sure you post a 1 below. If you're oldie but goodie, post a 2 below. I want to say hi to you. All right. I know I've gotten lots of messages where you're like, I've been watching you in the background and you haven't said anything. And that's okay. You know, whenever you're ready to talk and ask questions, feel free. And for those of you who don't know me and this is your first time getting to know me or being on here live, make sure you click notifications above and you'll know when I go live, so at least you can know, okay, I gotta go watch that video. And then if you haven't hopped over to the group and check that out, you definitely want to do that. The group's amazing. Hi, Doris, how are you? All right, so when we did my daughter's last IEP, they started having a para with her without telling us, and I don't mind. She really enjoys it, but it's not the IEP, and the special ed teacher said it won't be on specific time. Is this right? What do you mean it won't be a specific time? Hi, Charmaine. How are you? Welcome. Welcome, welcome. Oh, guys, that's how like flustered I am tonight because my daughter had a complete meltdown. My course is the gates are open, the doors are open. So if you're interested in the course where I walk you from step 1 all the way to the end, please let me know. I'll get you the link. You also will get my service, accommodation, and modification kit for free. I'm really, really, really excited about that. And it has so much stuff. I'm preparing it. I'm going to have it done by next weekend. And then my team is going to take over and do all the back end stuff. And it's going to be awesome. So let me read kind of what I have. You know, I write everything down. I write all my content. On this one, I'm doing a bunch of videos so that the learning is there. I was actually messaged today where now I'm going to start doing a lot of closed captioning because I realized that I have a deaf community who are watching me. And so they've caught a lot of my captioned videos. So I got a message and said, hey, can you do this? You know, we saw you had a webinar last night. Can we get your replay with the captions? So now I'm sending my replay, even though it's mailed out to you guys. If you haven't gotten the replay, let me know. Message me your email and I'll send it to you. But the lady said that, hey, will you put captions on it? But I also, for my course, you guys get the script and everything. So she was like, this is awesome. So I thought that was really cool, you know, that such an amazing community. You know, I'm right 40 minutes from Gallaudet, which is in DC. So that's such an amazing experience for me. So it was nice talking to her. All right, so let's talk about this. 2 seconds. All right. So we are going to go over, I'm looking for it now, guys. Okay, here we go. All right. I'm going to read it to you guys. Okay. So here's kind of the outline because I'm not giving it away. All right. All right. It says I have new comments. Okay. 2 seconds, guys. All right. Oh, okay. My husband works in Richmond. He's a contractor. All right. He works in Chesterfield all the time. That's a nice area. Okay. So we'll have to catch up. We'll have to go to Short Pump or something. Okay, so basically this is kind of what I'm going to be putting up. So I said I extended my free kit, which is for today, with the purchase of the course if you enroll by the 13th, okay, which is tomorrow, because I figured Friday the 13th, why not do something really cool, right? And then it's a service, accommodation, and modification kit. So what it'll include is it's going to be 3 videos that are 45 minutes-ish in length, all right? Going over 1, what services, accommodations, and modifications are out there and what specifically they do, because there's a lot more out there than a lot of people think, okay? The next lesson is going to be about how do I know what services, accommodations, and modification my child needs, and why is this so important to know so my child's needs are met in the most appropriate way. All right, so that's lesson 2. Lesson 3 is how I become the CEO of my IEP meeting to ensure my child receives all the right accommodations, modifications, and services in the educational setting. All right, so it's 3 lessons. All right, it's my services, accommodations, and modifications kit, 3 lessons, 3 45-minute videos, and you'll get a workbook in reference to everything that's gone over, so you can take notes on all the videos, and it's going to go through everything with a detailed list of all the different services that you can request, modifications that you may not have thought of, and the school system isn't going to say, hey, here you go on a silver platter. And then some resources for you to help you out and kind of pointing you in the right direction of real stuff, not just your Google looking stuff that is sometimes pointless and does not go into in-depth of the things that, you know, many of us who this is what we do know, and the right places to look. So it's going to be a really great kit on that subject. And you'll get that free with the course, along with everything in my educational vault, minus my planning sessions and then the email writing and IEP overview. So it's a good package, okay? So I'm excited about it. So if you're interested in the course, it's either 1 payment of $357 or 4 payments of $97. I wanted to make it affordable for everyone. And I'm just really excited that it's popular and people are liking it. And that's awesome to me. So if you're interested, you can PM me, you can post something below, I'll send you the link, and you will also get the services, modifications, and accommodations kit for free, along with the educational vault on my website at autismmamarocksiep.com. You get everything in there that's already in the course. And you actually, with the course, get your own, basically a membership where you put your email and you put your own password, and it's awesome. You get a private Facebook group, and you get face-to-face Zoom chats where we'll do role play, and we're going to do some various other things to help you get a lot more confident in becoming the CEO of your IEP meeting. So again, if you're interested, PM me, post something below, and I'll post the link. If you're interested in a discovery call and you just want to chit chat and kind of see what direction you really need to go in, then do that too. I can post that link, or right above it says book now, and it sends you straight to the discovery call and my schedule. Okay, so let me know what you need there. Okay. All right, so real quick, Crystal says, I thought the school could not actually evaluate and give a diagnosis since they can't. If I'm wrong, please. Yeah, they can't evaluate, Trey. And like 1 week she had it 4 days, the next week no days. Okay. Without telling us, and I don't mind. She really enjoyed it. Yeah, so you can request how many hours your child is working with a para. Put it in an email and state that you want to know how many hours your child is working, say with the teacher, and then say with the para. All right, that's your right as a parent. Thanks, Grace. Appreciate it. Yeah, Tara, I'm excited too. Yes, I think the course is awesome too, Jessie. All right, so does anybody have any more questions? I'm going to hop off here. I'm going to try to hop on my course group and answer a couple questions and be done. It's late. And I was up till midnight last night answering questions for 3 hours on the webinar. And if you guys haven't seen the webinar, make sure you message me and I will send you a replay. All right. So you guys have an awesome night, and I will talk to you soon. I'm probably going to go live sometime tomorrow morning, just for a little bit. I noticed like last Friday it was super busy. So it's a different crowd, and it was nice. They were moms and dads, and it was like 9 o'clock in the morning. So it was a pretty busy time. A para is a teacher's aide. So, all right, guys, message me if you have any questions, and I'll post the links below, okay? So check them out and PM me if you have any questions and you want the link to the course and all that kind of stuff. And yes, you will get the educational vault plus the services, accommodations, and modifications kit. I'll talk to you guys soon. Take care.